Well, hey, howdy, y'all. Happy day after Christmas, sitting around the old Camp Dog Workshop on a lazy Sunday doing nothing in particular, so I thought I'd do a little shop tip video for fun. Um, One of the things you run into when restoring old lanterns is crud and rust inside your font. There's a couple different ways to deal with that, sand and BBs and, an hour of shaking or all that. But I like to use a rust dissolving product like either Rust-Oleum Dissolve Rust or Evapor Rust. They both work the same and they do a really good job on cutting rust. The problem is a double problem. If you're doing CQ fonts, you can pour it all out, but the filler nozzle on a CQ font has about a 1-inch extension into your font. So even if you dump it upside down, you're still going to be retaining liquid. Now, even on fonts that don't have that, you can unscrew it and dump out the rust dissolver. But the rust dissolver will leave back little microscopic cruds of free-floating rust. And that'll get up into your Jenny and just make your life absolutely miserable. So I've come up with a way to deal with that, and I'm going to share it with you. I like to, after I derust it, pour out the excess. I like to clear the font. I use a font flush, and what that basically is just old nasty Coleman fuel I've gotten from other lanterns I'm restoring, but I save it and I pour it in there and swish it around. Now what's going to happen is your rust dissolvers are basically water-based, so it's not going to mix. So to capture whatever's left of the rust dissolver and the little particles of rust, I pour a little water into the font also. So that will bond with your rust dissolver. Now, the problem is then you've got fuel and water and they don't mix. They stay separated. So to get it out, what I do, I do a little concoction here. I'll take either, I like 70% isopropyl alcohol because it's cheap. I'll put a little bit of it in my squirter bottle. Okay, well first here, let me fill this up. This is a little cheapy funnel I made out of the top of a propane can. I'll pour my water in. Then I'll pour my font flush in. Now once again, both the water and your font flushes is clear, so you're not going to be able to see if you've got everything coming out. So I'll take a little bit of the isopropyl alcohol, put a couple of drops of food coloring in it. And shake it up. And alcohol and water love each other. That's why if you're doing a mixed drink that's too strong, you add a little ice cube and water. Anyway, so I take this and I shoot it into the font. Here we go. And what happens is the blue isopropyl alcohol will bond with the water that's in the font. And of course the two stay separate, the blue water and the rust dissolver, or the font flush. But then I shake it up, and what I'm trying to do is get any of those loose rust particles that are floating around suspended in the water. Now, as I said, you can pour this out and you'll be able to get most of it out, but you're still going to have enough of that crud left in there that when you put your clear fuel in, and try to fire it, water's heavier than fuel. It's going to go to the bottom of the tank, and your Jenny is going to suck up dirty water. And that's going to just screw up your generator like crazy, and you're not going to be able to get the thing lit, and you're going to think your whole effort of getting it clean was worth nothing. So I made a gadget. You're going to love this. I'll take the font, tip it up on an angle so that there's a bottom corner. This is my little vacuum cleaner siphon thing. It's just a mason jar with a lid, a long piece of tubing and a short piece of tubing. The long piece of tubing goes further into the jar than a short piece of tubing. So then I stick this into the font and create a vacuum in the jar. And you can see that it's starting to suck up blue water, because the water is heavier than the fuel. So the water is what settled down. And you can kind of just jiggle that around a little in case there's any loose rust particles or anything like that. And you just let it siphon through. Now when your water is all siphoned out, this is going to turn clear because you're going to be sucking fuel instead of water. I don't know how much water. There we go. Look at that. Okay. See that change? We sucked up all the water and now it's sucking fuel. But I'm just going to jiggle this around a little, give this a couple shakes just to see if there's any water in the bottom. So what this has done, it's taken rust particles and any leftover rust dissolver, mixed with water and alcohol and food coloring, and sucked it out of your font. Now the only thing that's in there right now, dirty old font flush. But dirty old font flush doesn't hurt at all because you're going to get most of it out. You're going to leave a couple drops in there. When you put your clean fuel in, you're going to be fine. So as this is siphoning out, I don't know if I can lift this without breaking the siphon. You can see how the water and rust dissolver settle to the bottom and your fuel rises up. So, holy snapping Martha, what am I doing here? Did I lose my suction? Yeah, I lifted it too high, I lost my suction. Let me try this again here. Now the advantage of doing this, everybody that's, see, okay, now I got bubbles, which means I've sucked up all my fuel. Now the advantage of using a siphon like this is anybody that's ever tried to get gas out of your buddy's gas tank with a garden hose knows that when you're sucking on the hose, you're going to get gas in your mouth and you're going to gag. This, the gas doesn't go into your mouth, it just goes into the font, and the suction is formed by that little tube. Now sometimes you might have to do this 2 or 3 different times. So if you don't clear it all at first, there, see how it's separate? You can pour off your font flush. Just pour it back into your container. And what you got left in your jar is your nasty water and rust dissolver. So I've recovered most of my font flush. I'll just pour it back in the gallon. Now here's another tip. I hate those child-proof caps. They make me crazy because I'm old and my fingers hurt and I can't get enough pressure. So when I get a new gallon, I bust this little pressure cap off and I get a hunk of metal and I hot glue it to the inside. So I've got, boy oh boy, is that great? So I got a lever, I can grab that real easy. Alright, well that's it. Thanks for stopping by Camping Downward Workshop. I hope this siphon idea can be helpful to you. I hope you all had a good Merry Christmas season, and my best wishes for a safe, healthy, and prosperous New Year. And I hope you all find your birthday lantern this year. Alright, that's it. Bye-bye.